Business time now here on Live from Paris with Delano D'Souza. Hi there, Delano.
Morning.
You're going to start off with the US Federal Reserve. They're signalling, maybe, perhaps, an interest rate hike later on this year.
That's right, Catherine. Fed Chair Janet Yellen opened the door for a rate hike even though the central bank downgraded its economic outlook. Now, in contrast to earlier statements, the Fed removed the word patient when it comes to rate hikes. Interest rates have been near zero since the financial crisis of 2008. The Fed has ruled out increasing rates in April but signals a June hike is possible depending on the performance of the US economy.
Today's modification of our guidance should not be interpreted to mean that we have decided on the timing of that increase. In other words, just because we removed the word patient from the statement doesn't mean we're going to be impatient.
It's interesting, isn't it, how just a shift in tone and wording can change things for investors. What impact have we seen on the markets?
Well, we start out in Europe where the markets have just begun trading, and we see that dovish statement from the Fed is really getting a mixed reaction from the main indices over here. We see the Frankfurt DAX there down about 0.2%. Over in Asia, the Hang Seng was in Hong Kong traded up 1% this hour. The Shanghai Composite closed marginally higher, this after reaching a fresh 7-year high during the session. Meanwhile, the Japanese yen strengthening against the dollar sent the Nikkei down 0.4% at the close. Exporters such as Sony and Nikon were among the biggest losers this Thursday. Let's move on now to Greece, where on Wednesday the government approved a bill to tackle its humanitarian crisis. Provisions like free electricity to the poorest have been included, despite the bill not receiving the green light from the country's creditors. Tensions between Greece and its eurozone partners flared after the EU warned Athens against unilateral move. Claire Williams reports.
Greece's new left-wing government has just passed its first piece of legislation, and it's an anti-austerity bill. The so-called humanitarian crisis law includes measures to give the country's poorest families free food and electricity.
We will not back down from what we promised. On January 25th, the Greeks asked us to put an end to austerity and bailout agreements, to begin the process of reclaiming the dignity of the nation, and to start a real, essential and hard negotiation with European partners.
The government says the measures will cost some €200 million, which will be offset by cutbacks on spending at ministries. Since Greece's financial crisis began in 2008, job cuts and reduced pensions and wages mean more and more families rely on charities to get by.
These first measures from the government are good, but they're not enough. Solutions are needed for the causes behind the humanitarian crisis.
Greece's international creditors say the new bill runs contrary to changes Athens agreed to last month in exchange for an extension of its bailout package. Without the bailout money, the country would have little cash left to meet payments owed to creditors.
We have the impression, and everyone who is dealing with the question shares the impression, that time is running out for Greece. They obviously have certain problems.
Greece will meet with eurozone leaders on the sidelines of a summit in Brussels on Thursday.
Right, some sad news for us fogies now to end on. You've got some news that signals that the internet really has overtaken the humble CD.
That's right, Catherine. Now, we've known for some time that digital downloads are the largest source of revenue in the music industry. But according to a report in the Financial Times, services like Spotify have eclipsed CD sales, which were lagging already. Last year alone, subscription services increased by 29%, totaling $1.87 billion, while revenues from CD sales came in at just $1.85 billion. Interestingly, though, downloads fell by just under 9% in 2014 at around $2.5 billion. So the shifting faced in the music industry.
What was your first CD?
Well, it was Michael Jackson, but I don't remember the album.
Wow, that tells a story about how long ago it was, though, that CDs were popular. Makes us feel old. Thank you very much for bringing us that news from the future, Delano D'Souza, on our business desk today. Now,